Bel Beach Hotel and Seven Seas Water St. Martin are also proud partners of this program. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Now You Know, all about banking in 2025. We are on location at the Windward Islands Bank. Now, there are changes, upgrades, new products, and so much more that is happening in banking on the island. And we all know that we have to go with the flow if we are to keep up with the rest of the world. Now, even though it may seem like it is getting more difficult and frustrating for some, it actually has gotten more convenient. For the older crowd out there, I know what you are saying. Yeah, right. From not always being able to access funds from ATM machines to the different cards that are now available. The changes, the upgrades, and the introduction of new products at our partners in progress, the Windward Islands Bank, will be rolling out these and other services. And yes, the bank is working really hard to continue to provide us with the best service. But first, let's tackle some current issues that may have or may not have been resolved as yet, and that are on the minds of customers. Joining me today to talk about the Windward Islands Bank and their new products and services for 2025 is the country manager, Mrs. Daisy Carolus, Tyrol, who is always, and I mean always, willing to be of assistance, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying that. Mrs. Carolus, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today. I know you are very busy, but every time you go into the bank, there's someone complaining about something. Mm-hmm. So I thought that this is time that we get things cleared up. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Van Putten, for the opportunity. You know, it's a pleasure always to be in your program. Yeah. So this way we can convey messages to our customers, and I think that's the best way to do it. Be open and clear and tell the customers what we are doing and why we are doing those and what are the new things that the bank is coming with.
Good. Let's start with the bank's new business hours. I understood that the Windward Islands Bank will have a new closing time. Will it have a new opening time as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we started already from February. We started with our opening hour is 8 o'clock in the morning. I think that's convenient
tell us why.
Okay. I'm going to tell you the why that every morning when I come to the bank, mm-hmm. I usually try to be here at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And when I come, I see in front of the bank lot of people standing to get into the bank. And they have to wait until 8:30 to get in. Mm-hmm. And I know I took that to heart because I find like they have to wait a half hour and then they have to move and go to their work. So it's not good. Okay. So based on that, I have discussed it with the management team. And thank God all of them found that it was a good idea to change it. So we change it now from 8 a.m. in the morning up to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So that half hour that they had at the end of the day, that was 3:30, we brought it now forward at the beginning of the day. And it's working perfect. I think we got very good feedback from the customers.
That you close early?
But you know what? You might always have one or two people that thinks it's not convenient, but the vast majority of the customers were happy with the change.
Okay. Another thing I've noticed at the bank, especially the one at Bush Road, because of the parking is much easier there, so we tend to go there. At least I do. And I know I fuss with them. Why did you have to come today? You know, because it's always full. But what I've noticed is the queuing system, which is working well. You know, I like that. But one of the positions that I saw that, especially at the Bush Road branch, is, and I think every bank might have it, every branch might have it. You have a new position created at the bank. It's called a Customer Experience Officer. Talk to us, Mrs. Carolus, about this new position and what are they really responsible for?
Okay, thank you for that question because I think that's an opportunity for me to introduce. Mm-hmm. It's not a position. We have a whole unit called Customer Experience that shows how we value our customers. We take at heart what our customers tells us in the surveys. Mm-hmm. So based on that, the bank decided to come with a customer experience unit. It consists of 3 persons. The general manager is part of the management team Her name is Emilia Connor. And I think next time she should be in your program.
Yes.
So she can tell you all the nice and beautiful things that we are doing for our customers.
Okay.
But indeed, we take at heart the service, and not only the service, the experience. You know, we want the customer to go home, and when they're home, still thinking about, wow, that was a nice experience at the bank. You know, so, and to change that, it's going to take time and focus. And that's why we incorporated this unit that will focus on making that happen. You know, it's not going to happen overnight, so patient, I'm asking our customers, but we're going to get there. The intention is there, and we fully convinced that before the end of the year, we're going to be there, that the customers will see that we change a lot when it comes to servicing, and that the experience is going to be fabulous.
Does the customer experience officer, I would call him, can he deal with customers?
In principle, no. In principle, his task is to observe, and so he can train and change behavior, you know? But, you know, when customer experience is in you, when I'm also at the branches, I tend that I like to be hands-on and go to the customer. Can I help you? You know, so I think the same thing is happening with him, and I applaud that because you know the passion should be there to provide customer service. If you're not feeling for the customer, it's going to be very difficult to be providing good customer experience or service. So.
Let's talk a bit about the queuing system. I remember always wanting one. You can go in, you can get your number, and if there's a long line, but what I love about it also is that they're now seating. Yes. So not anyone is standing anymore. I love that. Yes. I love that. Yes. But I can take a number, I can leave, and I can come back because I still have the number.
Yes.
You know, but you walk in sometimes, and let's say I'll have B12, and they're calling B11.
Yes.
And say, okay, I'm next. Then we have to go through all the other alphabets, the C's, the D's, the E's, the F's. You know, it's like, darn it. You know, I thought I could get in and get out. But I've come to realize that if you see those people ahead of you, of course they have to go before you.
Yes, exactly. Not all the times. Actually, you change the system or you configure the system to say depends on what the customer is requesting. To say, okay, this transaction can take 5 minutes, and this transaction will take 30 minutes. You know, so then you configure the system that the person that came to do the things for 5 minutes, don't wait 35 minutes to get the service done. So that's what we are trying out with the system.
So you're kind of tweaking it.
And tweaking it, but you know, we are busy with it, that's what you just mentioned, because you can come back and then you see they are with number 14. And your number long gone, you know. So we are working on having a system that this same system we are configuring it, so you can see on your phone who is like your turn is going to be in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, something like that.
Oh, I like that. You haven't gotten there yet, but you're working on it.
No, it's a phase 2. Phase 1 was introducing this system. So like you said, people can sit now, and the number will be called, so and also. And another thing that I didn't let go of, that we want to all customers to come in the bank and get out in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. That target, I didn't let go from it. So if it's not going to be this year, it's going to be next year, definitely. But I hope by the end of this year we're there, because that's what we want. You know.
One issue I think the bank has always, I think all banks have it though, is the tellers, the number of tellers. Sometimes you walk in and there's 2, there's 3, sometimes there's 4. Other times when you see all these people, say, okay, how many tellers are there? Only 2? Oh, I'm going to be here forever. And then you hear the others grumbling as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's when I tell them, couldn't you have come yesterday? You know, while I'm here.
You know, I wish I can share with you our FTEs totals, but I will tell you, in Pondfield, this branch, we have 8 tellers.
Always there.
No, always there is a different thing.
Okay.
We have contracted.
Yeah.
We are paying for 8 tellers.
Okay.
In Bush Road and Simpson Bay, we have 6.
Okay.
Okay, but people are on vacation. People get sick, and those things we cannot manage them. We are managing the vacation to avoid that you have more than one people being on vacation at the same time. But when you get into summer, you know you have to manage it because everybody wants to go in summer because that's the school vacation.
Exactly.
So we cannot do anything about that. They deserve that to be there with their kids too. But sickness is not in our hands, you know. So we try as much as possible to have all counters populated with staff, with tellers. We're not calling them tellers anymore. We're calling them customer service
Representatives?
administrators.
Administrators, okay.
So they can do all services.
That was my next question. Mrs. Carolus, end of last year, I believe it was, when the bank kind of merged the tellers and the customer service in one. It drove many people crazy, but that only held up the lines even longer. Why the change? Why combine the two?
Okay. The most people coming to the bank only is doing like a pickup of cards or the credit or debit card, and the ones coming to the teller is not that many. So then you will have the tellers there sitting, and you will have long lines at the what we call ISO desk to pick up cards. So that's why we thought, if we put them together, then all these 8 tellers can help the customer with any of the services that we are providing to the community. So that's why we, and I took all the feedback because we got a lot of them on Facebook, very serious,
okay.
and we're working on them to adjust and change and so on. But going back is not an option right now because we see that it's giving the
working?
fruits. It's working,
Work.
So we just had to give it enough time, provide more training to our staff, but we think that, in maybe 6 months, you're going to see that it's going to work better.
Much more improved.
Much more improved. Even now, I think it's already, you see a difference from last year when we started and now, but it's going to become better because we are actively working on all the things that, our staff, training them, helping them, and also improving the queuing system itself. So that will help the flow too. So that also we are working on. Yes, definitely.
I remember last year people were saying, "This is crazy. This is
agree.
crazy."
I agree.
Don't ask me. I'll have to ask Mrs. Carolus.
Yes, I think being a management of the bank, that's one thing that you have to look into. Okay, what will make my customers' life easier? Okay, at a certain time that I know people were asking, who came with this crazy idea?
Yeah.
But what we were seeing, they were not seeing, So then that's why we decided, and we are not the only actually group-wide. We are changing that because we saw it was working in Aruba. Aruba was the first island.
They combined it.
To combine it, and it was a success. So that's why we said we want to be next. And I know Curacao is going on now together with Bonaire. So it might have seemed it was a crazy idea, but it's working out.
Okay, all right. Let's talk, Mrs. Carolus, about the ATMs.
Okay.
I know that you were replacing. Are you planning on replacing more? Because after a while they get old and they're not functioning. Sometimes you go and you see it closed, and sometimes I go walking in the morning and I would like to take some cash off. So about 5:30, and some of them are closed. It's like, shucks, I have to come back later.
Yeah. And some of them we close on purpose. Huh?
Tell us why. Tell us why.
Okay, that's security-wise. Security-wise, we close them around 10 o'clock and open them the next morning. I think it's 7 o'clock or so, or if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's security-wise. So for that reason, you might have some that are closed indeed at that time. You said 5:30.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed the one, let me pick one out. I've noticed the one by the Captain Hodges Wharf. To me, that is always closed. Are you planning on getting rid of it, or?
yes, we did already.
Okay,
Yes,
that's why.
yes, that one we closed because the traffic was not enough. You know, not enough transactions to keep it open.
Okay.
So that's one, and we have another one at, I think it's next to the greenhouse
Oh, you're closing
restaurant.
that one as
Yes, okay. Because it's too, you know,
it's too close
secluded.
to the, but it's also
So
closer
with
to
the gas station one,
right.
exactly. So, but you can see it. You know, you can see it in the number of transactions. People are not using it.
Okay.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that we not putting those machines at other places. No.
Right. So
we are
I'm thinking,
relocating them.
Are you going to relocate them further down Front Street, like by the Walter Plant Square? I've been begging for one there for the longest time.
You know, we have a strategy with that. So we are thinking where to put them, but we are relocating them definitely to other spots. So it's not reducing the numbers, but relocating some of them to better visited places.
Talk to us about some of the new features of the ATMs.
Okay, we didn't get yet to change our ATMs.
Okay.
But the intention is that this year we will start changing some, and they will become recyclers. And what that means, once you deposit, it will take in your deposit, it will post it immediately on your account, and that same money will be in the bins that are used for the withdrawals. So we don't have to replenish. Actually, if the deposit is enough, you don't have to replenish that frequently, because the deposit money will be used for withdrawals.
Okay, so you'll get credit, but it will stay in the machine.
Yes.
So that you don't have to use the.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because currently you have to put the money in an envelope,
Right.
and then we collect those envelopes, we count them, and post them on your account, the money on your account, the amount.
Right.
But with the recyclers, you won't be necessary to, you will see the immediate credit, and you will see that the money, actually the money stays in the machine.
Okay. So you will have immediate credit.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. I remember going to the St. Rose Arcade. I remember going to the Risdon gas station to top up, because I top up via the ATM. And it won't allow me to do that. And then I asked, and they said, no, that feature, they took away that feature from the ATMs. But one of your employees, very faithful, loyal one, showed me that I could do it at the machine downstairs in the main branch, the one that's inside. Is that a feature that will be taken away, or
No.
No? You'll still be able to top up.
Yes, we just going to improve the feature,
Okay.
but it's not going to be taken away.
Okay.
Definitely not.
I think the last time I spoke to you, I asked you about one of the features that we wanted. What I do like is that we can see the balance right away, or that you withdrew. No matter how many times or wherever you use your machine, you use your card,
Yes.
that it shows up on your phone,
Yes.
instantly.
Exactly.
Other
The
banks had it,
transactions.
but the transaction showed up. So I love that. I love
Okay.
that. But with the ATM, though, one of the things I wanted was that if we could, let's say, talk about how you are going to try to improve that. Let's say we take off money, we insert our card, and we have 3 transactions to do, for instance. With the card, we don't want the card to be split out to be reinserted to do another transaction. So let's say we want our balance to know how much we can take off. Once our balance is shown, there are some machines, I don't know if we have them here, they would ask you, do you need another service, or, and then we tell them yes. But I haven't seen that here. The card spits back out, then we have to reinsert it, and then we have to go to the next one. So let's say withdraw, and then once it spits out again, then we have to reinsert it again, and then top up.
Yeah.
for instance.
And the first,
Is that going to become
yeah,
one?
and the new machines,
Yeah.
we go into the software will be able to do that too.
Okay.
Yes, that you can do more transactions at the same time. So you, once you
good.
finish one, you yes.
Yes.
With the new software on the new machines, we're going to do that.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk about, Mrs. Carolus, is the amount of money. Let's talk about that. The amount of money that you can take off once, and how are we going to be able to, let's say we want to take our maximum immediately. I know that we can take our maximum and still go and insert the card at other stores. But taking off that 1,000, sometimes we have to do it 2 and 3 times. So we can't get it immediately.
In one shot.
In one shot.
Okay. Let me start explaining something. St. Martin is a very unique market. Huh? Yes.
Can you imagine
the base currency of St. Martin is guilders.
Oh,
but
okay,
that's, I think, is on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everybody is using US dollars, So based on that, we need to have a lot of cassettes in dollars, and we have to have cassettes in guilders. In other markets, like in Curacao, you have one cassette for dollars because locals will not withdraw. It's more for the tourists. Or if you're going away, you are at the airport and you need some dollars, you withdraw. But the majority of the people will withdraw guilders. Okay, so then the withdrawal in Curacao for the maximum is 1,800 guilders.
Okay.
You're gonna get it every time. But in St. Martin, it's going to be a challenge. And it is a challenge because I have to split my amount of cassettes between the two currencies, and I have to give the dollars more than one cassette because the majority of the people here will withdraw dollars. Based on that, sometimes we have some of the ATMs that even has $10 in it, not all of them. So that use one of the cassettes too. So that will make the number of 100 or 50 less.
Okay.
Okay. And that's why sometimes then you get this issue that you have to withdraw in more tranches. If you want maybe $1,000, then you have to do twice 500. Okay. But it is the uniqueness of the island that the base currency of the island is guilders, but actually it's the majority of the currency being used on the island is dollar.
Once upon a time, Mrs. Carolus, they would only a certain ATMs. They would not give you. They always tell you you have to. Let's say I wanted $50. They tell you you have to withdraw in multiples of 20s. Now I want 50, not 60. So I would have to punch in 60 so that I would get 3 20s. In other words, is that going to change? Will we be able to get 50s? But only a 50. Yeah,
yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I noticed that. Okay.
Yes.
But all machines are going to be like that.
All of them are like that.
Okay. I remember that one. Let's talk about the charges for the ATM. Because someone said to me the other day, I was at Bush Road, and they said to me, yeah, they're charging you all of this money. They're not giving you 1,000 in one shot, but you have to put in 3 times to get the 1,000, to make up the 1,000, and then they charge you every time. So let's talk about, and then what happened, Mrs. Carolus, I was by the St. Rose Arcade, and there was some, I believe they were tourists. Yeah, they were tourists, and they asked me, what are the charges? Because I went to use the machine. And he says, go ahead. I said, okay, thank you. So I took off what I had to take off, and he told me, what is the charges? I said, I live here. I have no idea. I know I need my money, so I don't really know how much they're charging me every time I use the ATM. Okay. Talk to us about those charges. Okay.
They charge you 1 guilders and 6 cents. That 6 cents is the TOT, the OB.
Yeah, turnover tax.
That's the 6 cents.
Okay.
So it's 106, you being in guilders.
Right.
And then, if it's dollars, it's like 50-something cents dollar is being deducted for fee. But that's for locals. Yeah.
But
because locals, I mean also our customers. Because other banks, local banks, customers using our machine, the fee is different. Okay, we used to have, or up to now, we having CashNet, and CashNet will clear all those transactions between the local banks, and that's, I think, is 2 guilders and 12 cents, like the 6% OB again. But for foreigners, something else dictate. We have totally different fees. But it will tell them before they do the transaction, if they accept, it will show them the fee, and if they accept the fee, then they will continue with the transaction.
Okay. I remember years ago using, I was at Maho, and Scotiabank was there. There was no WIB. I needed to take money off because I was at a restaurant. I remember they charged me $5 to use the machine. And it was like, I never went back there, made sure I had money or a credit card or my ATM, you know, because now the ATMs, the debit card is used all over. Yes. You know, even at the smaller mom and pop stores.
Yes.
But someone told me, I went to one of them, even after it came out again that we can use our debit card no matter the amount. And then automatically at one of the supermarkets, the smaller supermarkets, they said the machine wasn't working. And I said, who do you think you're fooling? You know what I mean? But yeah, it was what it was.
If we can change behavior, if we all constantly and consistently are using our cards, we are actually pressing them on having to use the machine, because otherwise they will lose sales, and they don't want that. Exactly. But if it's a one-off, and then if they tell you the machine is not working and you accommodate them by paying with cash or go out, withdraw money and come back, then you won't change behavior. So I think all of us has to say, we're going to pay with cards. We're not going to pay with cash. And then you're going to see how they will change. Very fast, the machine will be okay. Yeah. It's not a problem anymore.
One of the complaints I had, or I heard, that it was because the bank charges them, and if it is for such a small amount, they're losing. So I said, but it's a convenience for the customer.
Yeah. I don't. The bank charge a percentage, so doesn't matter. You know, if it was a fixed fee, I would have agreed with them. Okay. But we charge a percentage of the amount. So.
Mrs. Carolus, how difficult is it to get a POS? Some are saying that, oh, it's too expensive. I'm a small business and I really want, you know. I says, but you have to get with the times, because I don't like to walk around with cash. So then they say, oh, it's difficult. The bank won't give me one. And I went to three different businesses, and it says, no, it's cash only, because I'm having a hard time with the bank.
No, it's not hard. Okay. It's actually, you have a monthly fee that you have to pay for the machine, because, you know, anything happens to the machine, it breaks, we have to replace it for the merchant.
Are they charged for that replacement?
No, we charge them that monthly fee, and with that money, we make sure that, you know, something happened with the machine, we are able to replace it for a new machine or another machine. That's one. The second thing is, you know, like everything else, if you can provide the documentation that we need, we come and do a site visit and we can see you have a shop. It's not in your bathroom. You are running this business, you know. I don't think it's going, and you're willing to pay the monthly fee. I don't think it's difficult to get it. No.
Okay. Good. So we got the charges out of the way. Let's talk, Mrs. Carolus, about the Compaleon.
Yeah.
That's a new credit card. Well, it's a new card. It's not as popular here.
No, I don't know why. Maybe the name, I don't know, Compaleon.
Talk to us about how one can go about getting a card.
Yes.
What are the benefits of having that card?
Okay, it's very easy to get that card. The only thing is, indeed, the card is a guilder card, because it's for locals.
Maybe that's why.
Yes, maybe that's why.
Maybe that's
Indeed,
why.
it's
It's still a dollar economy, no matter how we
yes,
look
yes.
at it. Yeah.
But doesn't matter. You can use the card still, because the Mastercard debit also is a Gilder card because it tie into your current account, so or your savings account. So it's a Gilder card anyway, and you can use it also for dollars. Compa Leon, they might have to exchange it for you, but the amount that they have to key in the system should be Gilder. Okay, what's the advantage of a Compa Leon card?
Yes.
Okay, when you're using your cards, you getting anything for it, for using it? The only thing you have to do is pay for what you have used, isn't it?
Right.
Okay, Compa Leon, you go and you buy something of 1,000 Gilder, and you pay with your Compa Leon. You know what's going to happen? We're gonna give you $10 back.
Okay.
So it's a 1% cash back on all your purchases. I mean, that's a nice feature. Who is giving you money back for anything you're doing? You know? So that's the
At least here on the
advantage
island, yeah.
of Compa. Not everywhere in the world, it's
There's some credit cards coming out now. They're telling you, you get cash back. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's
On the
basically what
island,
all
it's
about.
yes. Is
It's
the
the only
first card, is the only card that gives you cash back. Is the
Okay.
Compa Leon.
Okay.
So
Are you
try it.
Are you promoting it, Mrs.
Yes,
Carolus?
yes,
So people
yes.
know it's available?
Yes, we are going to do that, and also for the business community. We have a Compa Leon that they can use, and also they get cash back.
Okay.
So 1% cash back on their purchases.
Good. Now, Mrs. Carolus, let's talk about the difference between the different ATM cards we have. The debit card, the credit card, the different colors, what are they all about? There's a blue one, there's the different colors. Confusing. So you wanted to touch base on that. What are the difference between these, all of these different cards that you have?
Okay. Actually, there is no difference between the blue card and the gray card. There is not.
No difference.
No difference for the customer.
Okay.
It was more for the bank. Why I'm saying that? Because it's a feature that MasterCards provide. The heavy users of the card, they tell us then you can recognize them in a separate bin, and that's the color of the card. And the people that are not using it that much, then you have them in a separate bin. So for the bank, that's the information that we want to use and know about, Okay. But it's for the customer, they all do the same. It's the same card. But I think we should get a way of having, because we are confusing customers with these two colors.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk with my counterparts in Curacao if we can change that and have one color. But it's the same card, it's doing the same
thing.
It's nothing, it's just we can distinguish heavy users from people that are not using their debit cards that much. That was the only thing. Based on the experience that we had with the Maestro card, we knew who is using it very, very frequent, and we knew who is not using it that frequent. But it's a MasterCard feature, and that's why we took it. But if it brings confusion, this is the time for the bank to take action and then maybe change it and get to one type of card, or one color of card.
Yeah. Credit cards. We Reliance Bank have their own credit cards. Once upon a time, maybe I'm dating myself, but once upon a time, we could have gotten a MasterCard, a Visa, and an American Express. Then American Express was taken away, and I think the only thing I have now will be the Visa.
You can get MasterCard too.
You can get MasterCard
Yes,
as well.
and the MasterCard, we have the MasterCard for retail. We have the MasterCard for business. We have the MasterCard Black. That's for the more affluent customers because it's the limit is higher and it's more expensive also. The annual fee for the card is more expensive.
Okay.
On the Visa card also we have like 3 types, also the business and the Visa Platinum and the regular Visa.
What about the gold? I think it's a gold card.
Yeah,
Do you have the gold card?
no,
You
we
did away with
discontinue the
card.
gold. It's
You did
platinum.
away
It's
with it.
called
It's platinum
platinum
now.
now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And for the other type of card that you mentioned was the
It was the American Express.
American Express. American Express, they are doing it now themselves. So people can, I think, apply online, and you will get the card in your at home via the mail. So that's why we discontinued that, because they wanted to do it themselves.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Only the side of the acquiring side, the merchants, they still can accept all these type of cards, including the American Express card,
Yeah.
including Discover, all those cards.
Exactly.
They
right.
can, at the merchant side, they can accept all of that. It's on the issuing side, so the cards that we are issuing is MasterCard and Visa.
Okay.
And Compaleon.
Let's not forget that one. But, okay, no. I was going to ask you if there will be a time when the company will be in dollars as well, but we know it's only guilders. So
You never know. You never know.
Okay, okay. The new Caribbean Gilder is going to be rolled out and introduced at the end of March 2025. Mrs. Carolus, what do we need to know as customers, as residents, about this new Caribbean Gilder and the bank?
Okay. The first thing, it's a matter of an exchange of the currency based on several facts. The old Netherlands Antilles Guilders were not adhering to the modern security features. And the next thing is that the central bank, where they were acquiring the money from, that company is not making this type of bills anymore. So they were obliged to change to a new currency. Okay. Don't ask me why I didn't choose for dollars.
Okay,
because I cannot answer that.
That was the next question.
So I don't know. I know. I saw it on your face, so I don't have the answer for that.
You were in charge of that. I know that.
No, at all. But the new money has good features, security features, and also for the blind people that are blind, they can now distinguish between the different currencies. Also for the coins.
Nice.
Yes, you see the edges of the coins are now different. So this is 10 cents and 50 cents and so on. So I think that's good. For us, for our customers, it's important that they know, because you don't have to rush to the bank. Please don't do that on the 1st of April. You don't have. The money will still be there, so people, there's not going to be a difference. So the change is one-on-one. So if you had one Netherlands Antilles Gilder, it's one Caribbean Gilder. Okay. So it's not going to be, so nothing has to become more expensive on the island, because there is no change in the exchange. Okay. It's still pegged to the dollar, it's 179. For the bank, on the 31st, in the afternoon, the bank will be closed, because we have to take all this money that we have, and we have to count them, and we have to put the new Caribbean Gilder in. So based on that, up to noon, the bank will be open on the 31st, and the rest of the day we will be closed. Okay? Depends on the activity. We might open a little bit later, because sometimes some things you have to do at the end of the day, and some things you have to do at the start of the day. Depending on that, we might have to open the bank a little bit later on the 1st. But for now, I'm trying to open it on the 8th, at 8 o'clock. Right. So we're not having that, to make that change for now. Okay. What will happen for the coming 3 months, starting April 1st? The customers can come to the bank, but it has to be our customers, because the money has to be deposited on their account. So once they deposit the money on their account, then they do a withdrawal in the Caribbean Gilder, and then we give them. So it's not an exchange that you bring guilders and get dollars. No, it's a deposit of your guilders on your guilder account, and you're going to get withdrawal. You're going to withdraw Caribbean guilders if you want to. If not, you leave the bank and you can withdraw them from the ATM. Okay, ATM also have something to tell about that. Yes, we have, like you said, we have about 20 ATMs right now. We cannot change them overnight. And we don't pretend to change them overnight either, because it has to do with a security issue. So what will we do? And the central bank gave us authorization for this. For the 3 weeks in April, we have time to change the money in our ATMs. So if on the 2nd or the 3rd of April you go to the ATM and you get guilders, it's no problem, because you can continue paying with guilders up to June 30, 2025.
That's this year, yeah, okay.
Yes,
okay.
so you
but only 3 months, you only have 3 months.
Yes, but you can.
So come December, let's say I was cleaning out and I came across, a card that an aunt gave me with 100 guilders, the old Netherlands NA guilder, florin, How can I?
Still, you can, for a year, you still can bring it to the bank.
Okay.
The 3 months is for you to tender it. Use it in shops to buy stuff. Up to June 30th, you can use it. So if you go to the ATM and withdraw guilders, up to June, it's no problem. You can use it. But we will try before the end of April that in all our ATMs, we have Caribbean guilders in it. But it's not going to be on the 2nd, it's not going to be on the 3rd of April. No, because I know people will go on Facebook and said, they went to the Windward Island and they don't have Caribbean guilders. So no, it's going to be, and after a year that you, and like I said, deposit it, not change, deposit. After a year, then they can go to the central bank to deposit, or exchange. The central bank exchange.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any new security features on our cards, debit cards? I know one of the features is...
All the cards is requesting PIN number now, even debit and credit cards.
Let's talk about that one, yes. All of them are requesting PIN. Because they say that some are requesting and some are not.
No, the old ones are not.
But they're obsolete now, right? You can't use those cards anymore.
The debit, MasterCard debit, the Maestro is obsolete. Maestro is not in circulation, so everybody that had a Maestro card had to come and collect their MasterCard because the Maestro card is not working since February 17. But I'm talking about the credit cards now. Every time you get a replacement of a new card, then you need a PIN. So you need to use a PIN when you're doing a transaction. It's the old MasterCard and Visa card that maybe you acquire in 2023 and the expiration is 2026 and it didn't reach yet. You still have the old card and that you can use without a PIN, but that's credit cards. Debit card, all debit cards you have to use PIN to do transactions. It's only the online that we can use e-commerce. Those you can buy stuff from the online up to, I think, a certain amount. Now we cap it to $200 or something like that. But the intention is to make it higher, but not now. We are busy looking into that. But that's debit card. Debit card always was protected by, that's the second factor, always was protected by the PIN. Is the credit card now is also changing to that
as well. Can we customize our PIN?
Yes.
Okay. How long does it take to customize?
At the ATM for the MasterCard debit, you can do it immediately.
Really?
Yes. You can do it immediately.
Okay.
On our, I think it's a YouTube video now that we have about, and I think I saw somebody that I know in one of those two videos. Yeah, one is talking about the ATM, how you to do a transaction at the ATM, and the other one at the POS.
Okay.
The tap feature and all that. So I encourage everybody, look for those videos and then you can see how you can easily change your PIN. You need to know your existing PIN to change the new one.
Right.
Because that's the only way for us to know it's you. It's you.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
don't come and tell me I forgot, and then the system is not letting me change. No.
Right.
You need to know the existing PIN to change it to a new one.
Okay. I had an incident. Number one, one of the incidents I had, I was at the gas station, and I was waiting to go and withdraw some money. There was a gentleman in there, and he went in and he couldn't get any money out.
Okay.
So I went in by him. I says, "Okay, come, let me help you." You know these seniors. You use all the help they can get. We can get, but it still won't work because I put it in and everything. I turned my back and just put in your PIN number, and then he wanted to withdraw $500, and he still couldn't get it. So I said, check your PIN number.
Yes.
Check your number. Maybe you forgot. I said, how long did you have the card? He says, oh, about 3 weeks. I said, maybe you got one of the numbers mixed up. I said, so check it.
But the migration to the new debit card, everybody stay with the old PIN number. So we didn't change that.
Oh.
It's only new when you come to open an account, then you get a new card, and then you get a PIN that you can change also at the ATM.
Right.
But for the migration, the person that had the ISO card and we replaced it by the MasterCard debit, those PINs we didn't change.
Okay. There's another complaint I keep hearing with the seniors is that they give them all of these numbers and they can't remember these numbers. So they want to customize it so that they can remember it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
It's not only seniors.
Oh, okay.
If you consider me senior, yes, because I have the same
We
problem.
have the same problem, right? Yeah, so we have to start. Yeah, that's the thing with these numbers. Okay. Mrs. Carolus, let's also talk about, you have some new things. I was talking about new things happening at the bank. You'll be having a Rhode Island's Bank or WIB professionals young professionals in progress.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Okay.
It's a seminar, I believe
Yes,
it is?
it's a seminar. It's for our young professionals. These are our futures, huh?
Yeah.
They take chances, they become entrepreneurs. I like that,
Yes, yes.
I have my
COVID
kids
has taught us a
also,
lot.
yes, I have my kids also doing the same thing. So I encourage them also to do that. They want to work for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly, nothing wrong with that. So we're going to provide information to them. Several, tax, how to incorporate a business, all these type of things. We will communicate to the public when it's going to happen, what is the time, where, and also what are the topics. And I tell you, we have to have a maximum number of people because we can cater for the whole island. But make sure you're inscribed because it's going to be great. And don't wait till last minute that we have to tell you, we already reached the amount of people that can attend. So be the first one, and we will wait for all these young professionals to be there.
Who will be conducting it?
We have several people speaking, yes, on several topics.
All from the bank, though?
No.
No. Oh,
no,
not necessarily. Okay.
No.
Okay.
But we're gonna give you more insight. Hopefully, in 2 weeks or so, we will be having more information to share. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to happen in May.
Okay. Yeah.
Mid-June? Okay. It's mid-June, so I'm getting...
What is the age group that you're targeting? Because it would be like 15. Do you have to be a certain 18, 21 and up, or 21 to 40?
I'm saying young professionals.
Right.
You should be somebody that works already.
Oh, it's working. Okay.
Yes.
Suppose I have, let's say, a home business. They're doing baking or cooking.
It's okay. Yeah, they are young professionals,
yes,
but they're not going to
is there a
school
limit? Oh, okay.
and so on.
Oh,
And
okay.
even the ones, I think, going to school, if they are at the university and they have their plans, they are welcome to come too.
Okay.
But it's focused on the young professional, people that are working or having their own business and trying one way or the other to expand or do more, and knows, how I can get a mortgage from the bank easily, how I can get a loan for my business, to start my business.
How to start saving. Yeah.
That's another point.
Yeah.
Indeed.
How to start
Indeed,
saving.
yes.
We've done programs on that. You need some kind of cash
Yes.
as collateral when you
Yes.
want a loan. You know what I mean?
Yes.
First
Start
things
with
first.
your company on cashback.
Okay. Mrs. Carolus, it was a pleasure.
Thank
I look
you.
forward to having you back again.
Thank
There's so much
you.
more to talk about.
Yes.
And as these questions come up, please save them so we can discuss what are some of the... I can only give you the frustrations that I get when I'm in the bank.
No problem. We
So that's
appreciate that. You know, you ambassador of the bank. I see you as one. So as soon as somebody has something that you think we should be aware of, call. We are welcome to deal with that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's my
And
pleasure.
I love for you to get to know more about our customer experience unit.
Yes,
So
I look
that should
forward
be
to that
next.
one. I look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Okay.
And with that, everyone, we've come to the end of the program. My guest today was a country manager for the Windward Islands Bank here on St. Martin, Mrs. Daisy Carolus, Tyrol. And we spoke about the new changes, the new services, the new products, and everything else that relates to the bank. I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy this program as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. So until next time, we'll be back with another informative program. Do enjoy the rest of your evening from all of us here at PJD2 1300 AM, PJD3 102.7 FM, the voice of St. Martin. Bye-bye now.